Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today to meet our candidates so you can make an informed decision about the upcoming RIA Board of Directors election. Today's session will be recorded and available for viewing on our website for those who can't join us live. I'm joined today by Katie Smith, RIA's President and CEO of PHC Restoration. The RIA board consists of 13 at-large members and 1 strategic appointed member. This year, we have 2 open at-large seats and 6 candidates on the ballot. Election voting will open by mid-March, and all RIA member voting representatives will receive their ballots electronically via email. We strongly encourage our members to exercise their voice by participating in the election process. We'll present 4 candidates to you today and the remaining 2 tomorrow in alphabetical order by last name. Each candidate will be asked the same questions in the same order and have a few minutes to answer each question. Our candidates joining us today are Kelley Dolan from First Onsite, Craig Kersemeier from K-tech Kleening Systems, Jay Van Deusen from Rainbow International of Northeastern Maryland, and Justin Woodard of Woodard Cleaning and Restoration. And now I'm going to hand it off to Katie Smith.
As a reminder, the RIA's mission is to educate, advocate, and elevate the industry. We are the voice of the restoration industry. And as members of the RIA, we have a duty to elect board members who will represent the restorer and speak for our best interests and help us set the direction of the future of the RIA. So your vote matters. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First up, we have Kelley Dolan from First Onsite. Welcome, Kelley. Are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Katie.
Awesome. Okay. Question number 1 for you. Tell us a little bit about your background in the restoration industry, your company, and your current role in your organization. We'd love to hear how you believe your experience prepares you to serve as a member of RIA's board of directors.
Sure. Thank you. I've been in the industry about 18 years, about 17 of those years with Maxon's Restorations in a variety of roles. Started in sales support, did PM support, moved into HR, and then joined the leadership team to help sort of guide the success of the company. I was exposed to every part of the business while I was at Maxon's, kind of every angle, but my main focus was making us a great place to work. So I was really focused on programs and processes for our staff. In 2021, we were acquired by First Onsite. So I joined the Chief Administrative Officer's team about a year later, kind of once we had gotten through our acquisition process. So had some experience in that as well as a leader on that. And since then I've done a few internal projects. So I helped the IMO team. I helped with some other internal projects on the HR side. And right now I'm the leader of the global marketing team. So my official title is VP of Corporate Administration. But my role right now is focused on the marketing team and being their advocate internally and externally. Over the years, I've done a few certification classes, of course, some water, health and safety. When we were a member, Maxon's was a member of RA, I was involved in the committee that helped sort of get us settled with the next gear implementation for that group. And I've been involved with the RA team for, I think since 2019 and chair of the annual event for the last couple of years. Starting, my first year was COVID year, so that was exciting. So I think one of the things I bring to the board is just the experience with small and large companies now, have the ability to sort of adapt to any project that we may be working on as a group. I'm respectful of sort of politics and being aware of everyone's needs on a project, but at the same time, like a big driver of let's move forward, let's keep things going, let's not stall on this. And I think that everyone else in RIA, in my experience, has that sort of same effort and energy around let's move forward together. How do we rise together? So I think that's something I can help bring as a board member.
Excellent. Question number 2, looking ahead to the next 3 to 5 years, what issues or challenges do you consider to be the most important facing the restoration industry?
One thing that's always been on my mind is sort of our next generation, right? The next group who's coming up in the industry. We know that the work world is changing, and how do we sort of keep people engaged in what is a hard industry where we're often commoditized as vendors. So keeping people excited about what we do, and making sure the next next group, the next people ready to kind of move us forward are getting into the mix now. We need them involved as soon as they sort of have that little spark about restoration. I sort of just mentioned it. The other thing that always kind of is top of mind for me is how we are being commoditized, and that the value we truly bring is not valued and or paid for all the time. So how do we as a group, as an industry, stay strong and make sure that we are making our value position statement well known?
Awesome. Final question for you. How do you think RIA can positively improve the restoration industry both now and into the future?
Sure. I think probably one of the best things RIA membership offers is the great availability of our vendor partner network and sort of some of their buying discounts. It's always top of mind when you join an organization what the cost will be to do so and what the benefits are. And I think our vendor partners are a huge benefit. And so continuing those relationships and continuing that great sort of offer, I think, is important. I thought it would be interesting to talk about some industry competitive analysis too. RIA as like a neutral party could sort of be the group that's responsible for testing us as an industry. Are we rising or falling in things? How are we all doing together? How do we all sort of ways to see improvement and ways to, again, focus on the value we bring? RIA may have an interesting ability to do that as a nonprofit and as a neutral party. And another thing I think of that the industry needs to start paying attention to are some DE&I movement things about who our next generation is, again, tied to that, how the workplace is working and how we can work those concepts into RIA as a group and as an industry.
Awesome. Excellent ideas. You did a great job. You can relax now. You're all done. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Craig Kersemeier from K-tech Kleening Solutions. Welcome, Craig. Are you ready for your questions?
I am ready for the questions.
All right. Number one, here we go. Tell us a little bit about your background in the restoration industry, your company, and your current role in your organization. We'd like to hear how you believe your experience prepares you to serve as a member of RIA's board of directors.
Thank you, Katie. First off, like I said, I'm K-tech Kleening Systems. I'm the second generation. My parents started it, the president here. We have 3 offices within the state of Wisconsin. And like I said, so north central Wisconsin. The other thing is I've been involved in everything from the IICRC. I had 15 years involved between being on the board and on committees. I was past president of SCRT and MCRA, which are both regional trade associations that I've been there. Past president of Connections, which is now the Experience. And I'm just finishing my first term on RIA board of directors. And I think one of the things I can do is our company being involved in different things and the different aspects that I've been able to do to hopefully bridge some gaps between fellow associations that are also involved in the cleaning and restoration industry.
Okay, good deal. Craig, I'm going to ask you to turn your camera on. I know you turned it off for Kelley's term, but come on and join us here.
I don't know. It was turned off by me, so not by me. Somebody, it said the host did it. So
okay, all right, we'll work on that. Just stay camera ready. How about that? We'll get a question too. Okay. Looking ahead at the next 3 to 5 years, what issues or challenges do you consider to be the most important facing the restoration industry? There you are.
There, I'm back. Like I said, I think, strengthening our relationship, first of all, within the insurance companies. I mean, we got to make sure that we're on the same page together. They need us, we need them. We just have to find some common grounds that we need to work on. And I think a lot of it having RIA being an advocate for the industry. Second of all, I think is the government. I says we got to start working with the government that it recognizes us as an industry. Like I said, right now there we're somewhere between a janitor and a carpenter. Like it says. So part of that, a big push for that would be working on creating a career path that I have been in part of working with the IICRC and RIA and looking to develop those things. So the government looks at that. Are you a real industry? Do you have those things in place? Do you have certifications? Do you have standardizations and things like that? So I think that's very important for us to keep that path moving forward.
Absolutely. Question 3. How do you think RIA can positively improve the restoration industry both now and into the future?
Well, I think what we're doing right now is being that advocate. RIA has us a platform right now that we can be able to have a voice, to be able to present ourselves as we've done in the past by sitting down to be able to talk to people at Exactware, to talking to different people in different areas, to get people at a table to have the conversation. I believe as long as we can keep that going and having a conversation, that we can keep improving the process and all the way through.
Okay. Excellent job, Craig. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, we have Jay Van Deusen of Rainbow International of Northeastern Maryland. And let's see, Jay, do you have your camera ready?
Got my camera ready. Mine went off, I think, like Craig's did. I'm not sure that's
Okay.
control or what. But I'm here.
Okay. All right. Good deal. So we'll go ahead and get started with your question number one. Tell us a little bit about your background in the restoration industry, your company, and your current role in your organization. We'd love to hear how you believe your experience prepares you to serve as a member of RIA's board of directors.
So I basically came out of the construction industry 25 years ago, doing design, build, remodeling, and architectural work for projects that my company was doing. Then we kind of made a switch over to light commercial, and then again into the restoration industry when the economy took a dive, and certainly not for the better. Since then, we've kind of built on that experience in construction. We've refocused on contents as part of what we do. We have about 30 employees here in Maryland that we work in concert with on projects really from Philly all the way down to DC and as far west and north as Pennsylvania and Gettysburg area. So that's kind of a quick tab of where we've been. It's given me, I think, a lot of experience as we've been able to work on a franchise level, as well as my prior time with RIA, with independent contractors that have had success in the industry.
Wonderful. Okay, question two, looking ahead at the next 3 to 5 years, what issues or challenges do you consider to be the most important facing the restoration industry?
I think I was kind of thinking about the real estate thing earlier, where it's kind of location. For us in the area that we're in, it's kind of employees. And while it's very frustrating to not have the backlog of qualified people and technicians that we once had, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we are just scratching for people to recruit and to find that want to work in our industry and have the work ethic that is a little closer to some of what we grew up with. And it's kind of forced us to look at this as a challenge or an opportunity to make sure that we're offering things that are attractive to employees, be it education, certification, traveling to different programs, and more than just keeping up with their CE credits for their IICRC stuff, that we're giving them a chance to go ahead and get the accreditation, suggesting classes for them. We started using Dave Ramsey's program for some of our employees so that, we have people who are planning on staying rather than planning on leaving for another 25 cents an hour. And that's, I think RIA can have a great influence on that, particularly as we offer more standards and accreditations that we can offer to our employees as they learn about different opportunities we can have in the industry.
Okay. Question number 3, how do you think RIA can positively improve the restoration industry both now and into the future?
Somebody had mentioned politics before, and I think continuing to kind of wade through this relationship that we have with the IICRC and RIA, I think could be very positive for both of us, particularly if we can build on that relationship. I think to offer more of the standards and programs that we can to our members to make sure that they're not cutting themselves short and that they're not doing as good a job as they could be if they were following some of these standards. Particularly, we've been studying up on the S700 or the smoke and standard for contents, and seeing how we can apply that to the projects that we're working on now, and how we can communicate that with all the, what do they call it, materially interested parties, to make sure that we're all on the same page and that we're not offering something that shouldn't be done, but that we're offering something for the benefit of our customer who's been hit with fire or water loss appropriately.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Great job.
Mm-hmm.
And last but certainly not least today, we have Justin Woodard of Woodard Cleaning and Restoration. Welcome, Justin. I guess you'll have your camera
Thanks,
on
Katie.
in just a minute. It's good to have you here today. All right, let's go ahead and jump into question number one. Tell us a little bit about your background in the restoration industry, your company, and your current role in your organization. We'd love to hear how you believe your experience prepares you to serve as a member of RIA's board of directors.
Beautiful. Thank you a lot, very much, Katie. I'm the third generation owner and CEO of Woodard Cleaning and Restoration. My grandparents started our company about 76 years ago. And in my role, I'm responsible for creating and maintaining an inspiring and strategically sound vision for the future of the people of Woodard, while maintaining our culture of care, compassion, and service. I've been in and around the restoration industry and the RIA since I was a teenager. Our company has been supporters of the RIA since my grandparents helped start the organization about 75 years ago. And since then, we have shown our commitment to the RIA with financial resources and with people resources, primarily. We've had multiple past board presidents, including my grandma, but then also our CFO is currently the RIA treasurer. We've put hundreds of people through RIA trainings and certifications and participated in conventions and conferences and tours around the country and, throughout all the years. And, my individual involvement have been in attendance at those events and classes and conventions. And, we've hosted some events and, supporting the commitment for our people to be involved in the industry with the RIA and with the people all around the country. I think the thing I'd share, why me, our organization has, evolved into lots of different service lines. We're in both the cleaning and restoration industry in a little bit more depth than some companies because of how much carpet cleaning and rug cleaning that we do, in addition to all of the water mitigation and reconstruction services. And because of that, I've had to develop a style of leadership that looks at competing interests and makes decisions. And so my style of leadership really has evolved a lot to take multiple points of view into account and then be able to weigh those and really help push to make a decision, because no decision, as everybody knows, is also a decision. And often we need to make a decision to move forward.
That's true. Question number two, looking ahead at the next 3 to 5 years, what issues or challenges do you consider to be the most important facing the restoration industry?
My understanding right now is that there are still over 10,000 contractors around the country that are doing our restoration services in particular, and really only a handful in comparison, insurance companies. We need that common voice that the other candidates have talked about. And right now we only have about 1,200 members. And so I think one of the biggest challenges facing us is, in order to have that common voice across the entire country, we need more than just 10% of the contractors. We need a lot more voices to be, a lot more companies to be a part of the RIA, so we can have that common voice in balance with the insurance companies and other, stakeholders inside of the restoration industry. And so, I think just the sheer number challenge is one of the biggest ones. We need more members. Then we will have the challenge of being able to hear those voices. We all know once you get more and more, a lot of us are small business owners, and we often have a loud voice and want to be heard. And being able to hear all of those voices, weigh them appropriately, and then be able to make decisions and move forward, I think will be a significant challenge.
Yeah.
I think the other challenge that we're going to have as we continue to move forward, a lot of the contractors are smaller. And so we've got a handful of bigger contractors, and then we have a whole bunch of little contractors, and being able to weigh the voices of both of those and take both of the needs of the large contractors and small contractors into account as we make decisions for the what's in the best interest of all of the contractors will be a significant challenge that will require folks to be able to put aside their ego, put aside what is in their individual best interests, and make good decisions for the entire group.
Absolutely. And question number 3, how do you think RIA can positively improve the restoration industry both now and into the future?
Well, I think now the idea that we need to still build this thing so we can have a common voice. I think that's one of the biggest ways that the RIA can have a positive impact in the current, whether that's this year or the next couple of years, like the immediate term. I think that's it. Continuing the work of the AGA in being able to connect with the different stakeholders in the industry and have our voice be heard and say, hey, we are the experts in these things, and we need to be taken into account. Continuing to get as many contractors on board that want to participate, continue all that work. That's a great positive impact I think the RIA can have. When I look into the future, one of the things that I see that we as the RIA are a little different than some of the other industry associations is that there isn't necessarily a origin story in unions or in collective bargaining or in groups that are actually building workforces. We can't go out somewhere and find trained people, right? There's not a trade school necessarily that we can go to pull out a carpet cleaner or a water damage technician or somebody that knows anything about fire damage cleanup. And so being able to look out into the future to somehow help the industry create that workforce or create the training or the knowledge that we exist as an industry that somebody might want to go into, maybe that's out of high school and they want to start be in the trades. Right now, we don't even exist as an option in most people's minds because we're so under the radar. And I think there's a possibility that RIA could have a really positive impact on the industry by helping, maybe it is marketing, maybe it is setting up programs and training that are outside of. Right now, Woodard has to send people to training. Maybe there are ways that we could have training that is independent of any one member company, and help us as an industry have that workforce coming in. And I think if we're able to do that, the impact that we could have on communities around the country and on people that have suffered losses could be tremendous, because we'd just be able to have more and more people that are out there trained, knowing what they're doing, that we can help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to all of our candidates for your time today and for your courage. I know a lot of you probably don't want to get out here and answer questions in front of all of our members, but you did it all so well and so concisely, and you made some great points. And as someone who's been friends with many of you for many, many years and served with you, tried not to show any favoritism, tried not to nod my head too much, but you were all in alignment with your answers. And I just think that's great. And I learned something about each one of you today. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for being yourself. We look forward to part 2 tomorrow when we meet our remaining candidates. And so please join us for that. And while I have everyone's attention, I could just drive you over to our convention.restorationindustry.org website so that you can register for our annual convention, April 24 through 26, where you will see our new board members during our town hall. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you tomorrow.